The following video steers clear of political commentary. It's a reflective look at the personal side of former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, his style, character, and legacy beyond politics. Opinions shared are based on publicly available materials and are interpretive in nature.
Politics can be polarizing. Often, you're expected to pick a side. But in the next few minutes, we put all that aside. This is a light exploration into the life of Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Who was the man behind the title? What mattered to him personally? To understand the man who would become Zambia's 6th president, we have to go back to the beginning. In our case, to a lecture room at the University of Zambia in the late 1970s.
It was a small class, so we knew each other. I remember him as this tall fellow, and he always sat in the back of the class. But Edgar was a quiet student. You couldn't even tell he was present.
His former classmate, Bishop Trevor Mwamba, says that in a class filled with other students that also went on to do well in life, including Winter Kabimba, Zambia's former Minister of Justice and now President of the Economic Front Party, prominent African investment banker Justin Chinyata, Professor of Law Melvin Mbao, Honorable Justice Professor Mulela Margaret Munalula, the President of the Constitutional Court, and former Constitutional Court President Justice Hilda Chwomba. Edgar Lungu was the unassuming one.
You ask any one of our classmates if they had to say, okay, who among you will become president? No one would have said Edgar. There was this shyness about him. He was very laid back. And so a certain humility, a certain sense of just ordinariness. We all got on extremely well. He was, you're kind of like a model student. We were on the naughty side.
And yet, this quiet man would one day command the nation's attention. So what shaped this transformation? The journey from the back of the classroom to the presidency seems to have been built on pillars of deep personal conviction, a dose of good fortune, and discipline. You could sometimes see it in the details. Let's begin with a lens that reveals more than we think: fashion and style. To unpack his choices, we spoke to style icon, artist and creative director Theo Nason.
He was flexible. He could be, tailor-fitted today, tomorrow it could be in a safari, so he never took life too serious.
While many remember the sharp presidential looks,
there's a certain royal blue suit he once wore. I think he had a couple, but I think he always killed a blue look. So that was definitely very presidential, very tailored.
It was another, more debated look that revealed a different side of the man. An all-white suit complete with a fedora. Was it a fashion hit or miss?
I think fashion sense is, it's about who you are and how you choose to show up. I am not a believer in like hits or misses. I'm more about how does that make you feel? How does the look make you feel? He was a man of humor, and that's why I think he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew how the white suit looked. When you have someone that doesn't take themselves too serious and they're open to life like that, they are able to make bold choices.
Then there was a fascination with his handwriting. Is there a way to get insight into the man based on his penmanship? Graphology is the study of handwriting, for example, used to infer a person's character. In some circles, it's considered pseudoscience, but we were curious enough to get the thoughts of a graphologist.
As you can see, his handwriting was remarkably precise, almost like a font. It suggests that this was the script of a big dreamer, a planner not afraid of ambitious projects. This expansive thinking reflects his planner mindset. Even if execution has its challenges, he exhibits a deep desire to achieve excellence and can be highly particular about how things are done. This focus on quality, despite occasional compromises, is a strong indicator of personal pride and high standards.
Fitness was another pillar. Even in his 60s, he was often seen out running, a routine he approached with clear intent. Lusaka lawyer Kafula Mwiche, a member of the Lusaka Fitness Squad running club, ran alongside him.
For me, that was the message that the late President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, brought to the party. He led by example to show that if you have some physical fitness regime in your day-to-day life, you'd be able to overcome some of these challenges. Physical activity is your me time. If you've got a stressful job, I'm a lawyer, for example. I have stressful job, but I find physical activity soothing.
Beyond the discipline of mind and body, spirituality was a defining part of Edgar Chagwa Lungu's identity. During his presidency, he introduced the Ministry of Religious Affairs and declared a National Day of Prayer.
I think his intention was to actually institutionalize and actualize the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation, as you know, to create a vehicle that would actually actualize that declaration.
Reverend Benjamin believes the National Day of Prayer in particular will be a lasting memory.
In declaring October 18th as a National Day of Prayer, President Lungu galvanized this nation in its Christian faith. We have one day in our country where we can come together and pause and call upon the name of the Lord.
So we have the disciplined planner, the man of faith, the public leader with a sense of humor. But what was he like face to face on an early morning run?
We would run into the president with his posse, and they would be running. So once in a while, we'll join him or he'll join us, and we'd have a run. He was always jovial, he was always welcoming. His bodyguards would try and come in, but he would allow us to have fun and have a good run with him.
He was just this jovial, jolly character who loved life, but was just unassuming, quiet. You would come in a room, he was just there. And that's the impression. An ordinary man who became, in the context of the presidency, extraordinary.
This is the legacy he left behind beyond policy and politics. A legacy of personal discipline, a public declaration of faith, and the quiet impression of a humble man who rose to the nation's highest office.
Those of us that are remaining, it's a legacy he's left with us. We need to continue on the physical side. We need to take care of ourselves, and we'll have a better nation.
Perhaps the lesson we learn is that God uses all sorts of people to achieve his purpose. We commend his soul to Almighty God to rest in eternal peace.
As we take a moment to remember Edgar Chagwa Lungu, we step away from policy and politics and focus instead on the person. A man who valued faith, a man who moved with intention, whether in what he wore, what he wrote, or how he ran. A man who, in his own way, left quiet impressions that went beyond headlines. Legacies are made up of many moments. These are just a few. And sometimes it's in the simple human details that we begin to truly see someone.